Nathan's fist ripped through Ellen's purse, her scream echoing through the mall. The arrogant ex-Navy SEAL, Nathan Cole, towered over Ellen Marsh in the bustling food court, his sneer cutting like a lash as he carelessly hurled her groceries, the apples landing with a dull thud on the tiled floor. "Pay up, widow," he growled, his voice resonating with authority, insisting on her scant funds. Ellen, a widowed nurse, shrank, her gentle hands trembling. Her voice quavered, "Please, I've nothing left." Her gray hair unraveled from its bun, eyes flickering with trepidation, shoulders curled beneath Nathan's imposing stature. The neon flickered with intensity, fries crackled in hot oil, trays clanged together, yet the shoppers stood still, their breaths caught in sharp gasps. Teens jeered. "Look at her shake." A mother held her child tightly, phones illuminated, capturing Ellen's humiliation. A barista stood still. Shoppers murmured. "That's the SEAL guy." Their indifference cut deep, intensifying her shame. The crowd's devices sparkled, documenting each wince. Some chuckled, while others stood mute, a shared complicity thickening the atmosphere. Ellen's dignity, forged through years of tending soldiers, crumbled, her fear a raw wound. Nathan kicked an apple, his laugh cruel. "No one's saving you, old lady." The food courts teem with life, children's laughter echoing, cash registers chiming, the atmosphere worn yet vibrant. The neon lights cast a stark illumination on Ellen's quivering figure. Shoppers' trays fell silent, their conversations fading. The mall transformed into a theater of injustice. A man clad in a simple jacket stood rigid at the periphery, his eyes aflame, his Muay Thai physique taut, a tightly wound spring amidst the throng. Jason Statham, unnamed, observed, his coffee left untouched, fury igniting as Ellen's plea pierced deeper. The crowd's recordings, their mocking jeers, fueled Nathan's bravado. Yet Statham's gaze burned, fingers twitching, grit of fire poised to ignite. The mall's neon flickered. A thick veil of grease lingered in the atmosphere, charged with Ellen's trepidation and Nathan's looming threat. Statham's jaw tightened, the widow's hands quivered. A call he could not dismiss, his silence brewing a tempest of resolve. The murmurs of the crowd intensified, phones at the ready, as Nathan's taunt reverberated, "Beg or lose more." Ellen's eyes, glistening with fear, locked onto a stranger's gaze from across the court. Statham rose, fists clenched, his gaze sharp as a knife. Each step he took resonated like a thunderclap. The neon lights flickered, and shoppers held their breath, the pulse of the food court quickening. A dramatic confrontation was imminent, Statham's quiet determination igniting the atmosphere, the air of the mall charged with the anticipation of justice. Welcome to Statham's Heroics, where valor reigns supreme, neon resonates, and oppressors meet their downfall. Here, I weave stories of resilience, delivered with a powerful resonance, as Statham dismantles deceit like Nathan Cole, a counterfeit who dared to torment a grieving widow. Statham's Heroics is your sanctuary for legendary confrontations against wrongdoing. Subscribe for more tales of valor, and enter the fray, narrated with a gentle touch, as a deceiver confronts Statham's fury. Witness Statham dispense justice, narrated with a sense of tension, in a shopping center where honesty prevails. The mall's lively atmosphere concealed a widow's trepidation. The food court pulsed with energy, trays clattering, voices mingling over the sizzling fries, neon lights flickering in a vibrant array of pinks and blues. Escalators hummed, children giggled near a pretzel stand, while shoppers hurried with bags, their footsteps resonating on the gleaming tiles. The air was thick with the sense of grease and perfume, a deceptive melody of everyday life concealing an undercurrent of tension that coiled tightly beneath the surface. Beneath the sterile glow of the skylight, the mall thrummed with life, a restless hive where the pulse of the crowd quickened as a storm gathered. Nathan Cole strode through, a fallen Navy SEAL, his title stripped away, though his chiseled frame remained a testament to pride. Once celebrated by local news, his medals adorned billboards, but now whispers trailed him. Arrogance and a temper that transformed heroics into menace, culminating in his ejection from a bar last week for shoving a bouncer. His fitted jacket stretched, a smirk sharp as a knife, eyes probing for vulnerability, a hunter disguised in the fabric of a legend. Shoppers moved aside, some acknowledging that's Cole, while others whispered he's trouble. Their looks cautious, the neon lights buzzed a subtle alert to his menace. Ellen Marsh moved quietly, a widowed nurse with gray hair pinned neatly, her worn purse clutched tight. Her soft-spoken dignity shone in small acts, helping a lost child find his mother, thanking a cashier with a warm smile. Her humanity illuminated the chaos of the mall. Once a steady hand through wartime hospitals, she now counted coins carefully, her budget thin, vulnerability etched in her cautious steps. Her gentle hands, trembling from Nathan's taunt moments earlier, bore a quiet strength, overlooked by the bustling crowd. Her solitude became a target for cruelty. Jason Statham occupied a corner table, a black coffee left untouched, momentarily shedding the weight of his stuntman's life for a fleeting sense of normalcy. His Muay Thai scars concealed beneath a plain jacket, his grit masked by a calm gaze. Yet his instinct to protect remained keen, honed by years of confronting bullies. He had sought refuge, not confrontation. Yet his gaze, keen and piercing, followed Nathan's confident stride. The widow's fierce ember ignited his latent passion. He appeared inconspicuous, a figure lost among the throng. Yet his fingers drummed on the table, a cadence of control rather than passivity. The din of the food court, children's laughter, the clamor of the register, veiled his concentration, his coffee growing cold as he assessed Nathan's threat. The mall pulsed with vibrant neon. A soda machine murmured softly. The atmosphere was saturated with grease and expectation. Shoppers moved energetically, some negotiating at kiosks, while others captured moments in selfies, their voices creating a backdrop that overshadowed Ellen's soft entreaty. A tray clattered to the ground, the sound lost in the chaos, as Nathan's voice sliced through the din, his jibes sharp and cutting in the food court. The crowd's indifference, their devices capturing more attention than Ellen's quivering hands, felt like a quiet betrayal, whispers swirling around Nathan. He's a hero, isn't he? As Nathan tugged at Ellen's scarf, it lay crumpled, her dignity unraveling beneath the harsh neon lights. The mall transformed into a stage showcasing her fear. Statham's thoughts drifted to memories of past tormentors, a bar fight, a punk ridiculing a beggar, each moment a lesson in resilience. His jaw clenched, mirroring the rage ignited when Nathan ripped Ellen's purse apart, his instinct to protect a blaze he couldn't extinguish. The food court thrummed with tension, shoppers' eyes flickering toward Nathan, some murmuring, "He's gone too far," while others gazed at Ellen's slumped figure. The escalators hummed, the neon lights flickered, and the crowd's restless murmur masked Nathan's escalating hostility, his voice a sharp edge slicing through the air. Statham leaned forward, his chair creaking, the widow's trembling hands a call he couldn't ignore. Nathan sneered louder, his taunt a venomous jab. "No one's coming, widow." The crowd's murmurs faltered, phones wavering. As Statham's eyes blazed, a low whisper escaping, "Not true." His gaze, sharp as a blade, locked on Nathan, boots poised to move, the neons hum a battle drum. The food court buzzed with an electric tension, shoppers leaning in with bated breath. A barista gripped her apron tightly, the atmosphere thick with an unspoken promise of impending justice. Statham's restraint was palpable, a tempest contained, poised to erupt. The mall's usual calm felt like a delicate facade, on the verge of shattering. "Widow, beg or break." Nathan Cole's taunt reverberated through the food court, his voice a thunderous growl that rattled the neon-lit surroundings. Ellen Marsh recoiled, her delicate form shrinking as Nathan wrenched her scarf from her grasp, casting it onto the tiles with a disdainful flick. His sneer was a sharp blade, inflicting wounds deeper than the moment he had ripped her purse away. "Widows don't matter," he spat, venom lacing his words, while his imposing figure loomed over her trembling hands. "I'm a seal. This mall's mine," he bellowed, rationalizing his cruelty with a twisted sense of entitlement. His fitted jacket strained against his bulk, a bitter mockery of the hero's medals that had once graced the local news with pride. Ellen's voice trembled. "Please, stop." Her eyes filled with desperation. Gray hair fell loosely around her, dignity unraveling beneath the scrutiny of the crowd. The neon lights blazed. A thick haze of grease lingered in the air. Trays clattered, yet the buzz of shoppers faded, their phones illuminating the scene, intensifying her humiliation. Teens taunted, "Go on, cry." Their laughter cut through the atmosphere, while retirees murmured, "Isn't he a hero?" Phones gleamed like blades, capturing the image of Ellen's stooped figure. A barista hesitated, her apron tightly gripped. A mother pulled her child closer. Their anxious whispers, "He's Nathan Cole, right?" Bolstering his confidence, the escalators hummed, pop music droned on. Yet the crowd's complicity thickened, their recordings casting a harsh light on Ellen's trepidation. A child's soda splattered, unnoticed, as Nathan kicked her fallen apples, scoffing, "No one cares, old lady." Shoppers shifted, some nodding at Nathan's bravado, others frowning. Their murmurs a chorus of uncertainty, the food court thrumming with palpable tension. The air grew heavy, neon lights flickering with an electric hum, the sound of fries frying softly in the background. The mall transformed into a battleground where Ellen's quiet resilience confronted Nathan's looming threat. Jason Statham remained motionless at his corner table, his coffee neglected, embodying a predator's stillness as he observed Nathan's earlier provocations. The scars from his Muay Thai days tingled beneath his simple jacket, his gaze fixed on Nathan, a tempest of anger brewing since Ellen's desperate cry echoed through the mall. The crowd's phones flickered, their nervous giggles mingling with whispered commentary. "Who's that guy watching?" Thoughts swirled, yet Statham's focus remained unyielding, his restraint a calculated choice, not born of fear. Echoes of past bullies surfaced, a punk who had robbed a beggar, and a brawl where he had stood resolute. His jaw clenched, ignited by the same fury that had surged when Nathan first set his sights on Ellen. The harsh neon light intensified, and the air was thick with grease, while the crowd's indifference pressed heavily on Ellen's quaking hands. Nathan's jeers cut through the silence, a cruel reminder of her widow's sorrow, each taunt fueling Statham's simmering rage. Shoppers leaned in, a cashier halted mid-order, the food court's clamor receding as Nathan's voice rose, "Kneel, or I'll take everything." Ellen's scarf lay crumpled, her eyes glistening, her nurse's dignity dimming beneath his looming presence. The crowd's phones flickered, some dropping, others recording, their whispers evolving. "This is too far." Yet none stirred, their shared silence a quiet treachery. Statham's fingers ceased their rhythmic dance, his breath unwavering, the mall's neon lights casting a harsh glare on Nathan's malice. The atmosphere buzzed with electricity, escalators whispering softly, the tension stretched thin like a wire poised to break. He observed Ellen's delicate hands, the very ones that had once comforted a lost child before Nathan's torment began, now trembling. Her silent plea resonated within him, echoing since the initial insult. Nathan's jeers accumulated, his voice striking like a relentless hammer. "You're nothing, widow. Beg, or I'll break you." Shoppers gasped. A teen's phone trembled. The food court's heartbeat stuttered. The neon flickered, the grease thickened, the escalators hummed a distant echo, the mall a powder keg ready to ignite. Statham's heart raced, his self-control a tempest contained. The murmurs of the crowd suggested he was on the edge. A subtle tremor in response to Nathan's thunderous voice. Ellen's quaking hands, her quiet grace, stood as a light, while Nathan's harshness loomed like an inescapable darkness that Statham could not overlook. The air quivered, the food court charged with an electric tension. Shoppers' eyes flitting, some retreating, others immobilized, poised for the ignition. Then Statham rose, boots scraping against the tiles, his voice a sharp growl. "Heroes do not exploit the vulnerable." The words sliced through the atmosphere, a jolt that altered the ambience. Shoppers inhaled sharply, their phones pivoting toward Statham. The neon lights blazed more intensely, the murmur of the crowd hushed, their anxious laughter fading into silence. Nathan's gaze sharpened, his grin wavering, taken aback by the figure who had observed quietly. The barista's apron fell. A teenager's phone trembled. The food court's rhythm stuttered. Statham's eyes locked onto Nathan, a weapon tempered in the furnace of Ellen's dread. His stance aflame kindling the mall's anxious spirit. The murmurs of the crowd swelled. Is that Statham? Their complicity faltering. The atmosphere crackled with his words. Nathan let out a laugh, a sharp, grating sound. You're nothing. His taunt, a desperate jab, mocked harder. But the crowd froze, phones poised, their gasps a hush swallowing his bravado. The neon buzzed, grease hung heavier, the escalators drone a faint echo, the food court a powder keg. Shoppers' eyes darted, some stepping back, others leaning forward, the tension a live wire. Statham's fists clenched, his silence shattered, the spark ignited for an impending confrontation. The atmosphere of the mall quivered, Ellen's shaking hands a signal, Nathan's malice a looming threat, the crowd's stillness a heartbeat before retribution surged. Statham's fists collided with Nathan Cole's jaw, the sound of bone fracturing echoing amidst the din of the food court. The mall's neon blazed, grease thickened, as Jason Statham, fueled by Nathan's taunt, "You're nothing," charged at the arrogant ex-Navy SEAL. Nathan staggered, his sculpted form swaying, yet swung a powerful fist, grazing Statham's ribs, pain igniting like a spark. Statham sidestepped, launching a soda machine tray, its clang resonating as it deflected Nathan's punch. Shoppers screamed, phones flashing, trays shattering. The turmoil a tempest as Statham's Muay Thai finesse surged. The air throbbed with the mingling sense of sweat and trepidation. Neon lights flickering erratically, the faint sizzle of fries punctuating the chaos. The food court transformed into a battleground, where Ellen Marsh's desperate cry reverberated within Statham's chest. Nathan surged forward, his elbow poised to strike Statham's temple. A vicious blow from a man whose reputation bore the marks of countless bar fights. Statham pivoted, executing a wrist lock that wrenched Nathan's arm back. The sharp crack of bones slicing through the electric hum of the neon lights, followed by Nathan's anguished growl. "Seals don't terrorize widows," Statham snarled, his voice a fierce growl, landing a teep kick squarely into Nathan's chest, the impact sending him reeling. Shoppers gasped. Teens dropped their phones. A barista shouted, "Get him!" A mother instinctively shielded her child, while a cashier ducked for cover. Retirees exchanged wide-eyed whispers. "Is that Statham?" The crowd's jeers, once fueled by Nathan's taunts, began to fade, their phones trembling as they captured the unfolding chaos while Statham's fist struck again. The neon lights buzzed overhead, the scent of grease hung thick in the air, and the escalators droned softly in the background. Statham seized a ketchup bottle, wielding it like a weapon, the plastic cracking against Nathan's shoulder, red splattering everywhere. Nathan let out a roar, his fist barely grazing Statham's cheek, blood trickling down. But Statham retaliated with a clenched knee to Nathan's side, the air rushing from his lungs. The crowd screams intensified, shoppers scattering in chaos, some cheering, "Take him down!" while others stood frozen in shock. Statham's mind ignited with the image of Ellen's trembling hands, her desperate plea echoing, "Please stop!" Each strike he delivered was fueled by that haunting cry. His Muay Thai scars throbbed, reminders of victories over tormentors like Nathan, whose arrogance sneered at the widow's dignity. Nathan charged forward, crashing Statham into a food stand, ketchup packets exploding in a cacophony of chaos. Shoppers gasped, a teenager's soda cascading, an elderly woman gripping her purse tightly. Statham maneuvered, an elbow block thwarting Nathan's strike, then delivered a spinning elbow to Nathan's jaw. The sound of bone cracking, Nathan's growl intensified. The crowd's astonishment grew, a barista lifting a fist, neon flashing around them. Statham's determination solidified, visions of a punk who had stolen from a beggar flickering in his mind, Ellen's scream igniting his focus. The tumult of the food court enveloped him, phones illuminating the scene, shoppers' cries merging with the sound of clattering trays, the atmosphere charged with tension. Nathan faltered, Statham's gaze searing. The confrontation a storm poised to erupt. Nathan Cole staggered, his bulk faltering under the food court's neon glare. Yet, Statham's relentless assault showed no signs of abating. Jason Statham drove Nathan against a kiosk, the neon lights flaring around them, grease thickening the air, and trays clattering in chaos. His Muay Thai precision unleashed a tempest. A low roundhouse kick struck Nathan's knee, the sharp crack resonating as his pained growl filled the space. His hand gripping the counter for support. Statham's elbow strike collided with Nathan's temple, leaving him dazed, swiftly followed by a knee lift to his gut, the air rushing out of him. Shoppers gasped. Teens erupted in cheers, urging him on. A mother clapped, her child peering through the throng, the crowd's astonishment growing. The neon lights flickered, escalators creaked, and the atmosphere of the mall crackled with Statham's commanding presence, while Ellen Marsh's desperate plea, "Please stop," intensified the impact of each strike. Statham overturned a table, the sound resonating like thunder, propelling Nathan into a pretzel stand, pretzels flying in all directions, the wood fracturing under the impact. Nathan lashed out, his punch intercepted by Statham's makeshift shield of a chair, the noise echoing like a battle cry. Statham secured Nathan's arm in a tight grip, delivering a knee strike that landed with a heavy thud against his ribs, leaving Nathan gasping like a beached whale. The crowd surged. A barista's voice rang out, "Finish it." Retirees exchanged knowing glances, their murmurs echoing, "He's done." A tide shifted in response to Nathan's taunts. Statham's determination ignited, Ellen's dignity propelling him forward, her trembling hands a reminder of when Nathan had mocked her. The food court's chaos transformed, neon lights pulsing, the air thick with grease, shoppers' phones flickering, capturing Statham's unwavering spirit. Nathan's eyes widened, his smirk vanished, desperation driving him into a final lunge. Statham deftly sidestepped, delivering a hook punch that crunched against Nathan's nose, blood spurting forth as the crowd erupted in cheers. He leveraged a railing, swinging into a spinning heel kick that caved in Nathan's chest, silencing his growl. Shoppers applauded, a cashier waved, while the neon lights softened, casting a glow over the mall's rhythmic pulse, a hymn of justice. Statham's thoughts drifted to past encounters with bullies. A bar punk laid low, a beggar's plea met with compassion. His Muay Thai scars throbbed, and Ellen's cry ignited a fire that steadied his aim. The crowd inhaled sharply, some in tears, others calling out, "Statham." Their shared silence fractured, phones capturing the moment of a hero's defiance. A sense of order returned. Statham remained resolute, chest rising and falling, eyes aflame, while Nathan leaned heavily against the kiosk, his form crumpled, blood marking his features. The neon flickered with a steady glow, the remnants of grease dissipating, while trays lay still. The atmosphere of the food court buzzed with a palpable sense of wonder. Statham's presence was formidable, his skill a lesson that resonated in Nathan's anguished sounds. The crowd swelled, a mother lifting her fist in triumph, teenagers erupting in cheers, and retirees whispering, "That's him." The escalators whispered their mechanical tune, the neon casting a gentle light, transforming the mall's tumult into a tapestry of solace. Statham's heart raced, Ellen's hands shook, her nurse's composure unwavering, a promise kept. The crowd's jeers, once aimed at Ellen, now transformed into a chorus of admiration, ignited by Statham's fervor. Shoppers gathered, some applauding, others in disbelief, the food court alive with the rhythm of retribution. Statham's determination, shaped by the brilliance of neon lights, remained steadfast, his presence a guiding light against Nathan's malice. The neon buzzed softly, escalators barely moving, the atmosphere shifting as the crowd's silence dissipated. Nathan's moans, a diminishing sound of his pride, blended with the murmurs of the onlookers, their devices ready, immortalizing the scene. Statham's eyes, ignited since Nathan's initial provocation, softened as they swept across the crowd, landing on Ellen's corner. Her presence beckoned silently. Nathan lay there, groaning, a heap on the tiles, while Ellen's eyes widened, relief washing over her delicate form. The crowd murmured, "He's finished." Their phones trembled in anticipation, breaths held tight, the neon lights casting a muted promise. Gasps from shoppers hushed, the barista's shout diminished, whispers among retirees intensified. Justice had prevailed. The atmosphere of the food court quivered, Greece a distant recollection. Trays lay still, the escalators hum a faint echo. Statham's stand, a theatrical victory, remained etched in memory, while Nathan's defeat served as a lesson inscribed in the very essence of the mall. The hush of the crowd, Ellen's startled gaze, and Nathan's pained moans marked the conclusion. The spark of his malice had ignited a blaze of vengeance, ready for the consequences that would follow. A guard's voice cut through the tension, declaring, "He's no seal," exposed for his attack. The food court's neon lights flickered, the scent of grease hanging in the air, as the revelation shattered Nathan Cole's arrogant mask, leaving him groaning and slumped against the kiosk. The mall guard brandished a Navy fax, its message blunt. Nathan Cole, terminated for misconduct, disgraced for assault. Gasps echoed among the crowd, shoppers' phones trembling in disbelief, the atmosphere charged with astonishment. Teens jeered, "Liar." A mother shot a fierce glare, her child peering curiously, while a barista frowned, the revelation slicing through Nathan's heroic narrative. The escalators hummed softly, trays resting in stillness, as the food court's rhythm faltered with the unraveling of Nathan's deceit. His harassment of Ellen Marsh, once a source of pride, now revealed him as a desperate bully cloaked in shame. The murmurs of the crowd echoed, "He's finished." From Statham's earlier triumph, a swell of outrage emerged, the neon lights flickering in discontent. The mall transformed into a crucible where truth ignited. Jason Statham stood firm, fists clenched tighter, stunned yet unwavering. His eyes narrowed, voices resonating with a steely growl. "You're a fraud, Cole." The words, forged in Ellen's cry and Nathan's defeat, pierced the food court, binding to Statham's justice-driven stand. Ellen's plea, "Please stop," burned in his mind, her trembling hands afire fueling his resolve to expose this sham. The neon glow dimmed, the scent of grease lingering like a distant echo. As the gasps of shoppers rose in intensity, Statham's unwavering conviction grounding the tumult around him. His Muay Thai scars throbbed, remnants of past confrontations, while Nathan's stripped title became yet another mark against his pride. The crowd's phones lowered, some ceasing their recordings, others boldly challenging Nathan, their whispers filled with disbelief. How could he? A shift in the atmosphere, moving away from complicity. Nathan's eyes widened, blood streaking his face. His groans grew weaker, shame replacing his smirk. The fax's words, assault, dishonor, stripped his seal claim, revealing a man cloaked in disgrace through bullying. His harassment of Ellen was a desperate grasp at power. The stakes escalated. His lies endangered everything, a fraud's menace unchecked until Statham's stand. Teens erupted in cries of "fake." As a mother's glare intensified, the barista's frown deepening in response. The crowd's collective moral shift brewed like a tempest. A cashier's voice rang out, demanding, "Get out!" While retirees shook their heads, their hushed murmurs echoing, "Disgrace," words that cut deeper than Nathan's jibes. The atmosphere in the food court quivered, the neon lights flickering dimmer, escalators humming softly, as the crowd's indignation ignited like a wildfire, fueled by Statham's unvarnished truth. Shoppers drew nearer, some voicing their discontent, others casting fierce looks. The food court thrummed with a sense of justice. Statham's determination solidified, while Ellen's tender touch embodied her nursing grace, a promise he had maintained through both brawls and now dialogue. The neon lights buzzed, the tumult of the mall beginning to fade, the crowd reflecting their previous indifference. Nathan's deceptions, once hidden beneath accolades, now exposed. His harassment, a facade of cowardice, not the valor of a hero. The guard's fax, crumpled and clear, served as a guiding light, its message resonating with Statham's resolve. The food court transformed into a theater where authenticity eclipsed deceit. The audience's phones, previously ridiculing Ellen, now focused on Nathan, their recordings delivering a judgment. The air cleared, neon steady, the food court's tension dissipating like a fading storm. Statham's eyes, ignited since Nathan's first taunt, captivated the crowd, his stance a response reflected in Ellen's wide gaze. The escalator's hum softened, shoppers' murmurs rising into a chorus of outrage, the weight of grease lifting in the atmosphere. Nathan's groans, a sorrowful reflection of his malice, intertwined with the crowd's fervent shouts, their complicity dissolving. Statham's battle, a theatrical victory, transformed them all, his determination a flame that purged Nathan's deceit. The crowd's transition, from mockery to righteousness, ignited a spark, the food court's essence awakening beneath the neon's radiance. Statham declared, "This concludes here," voices resonating with intensity, the audience drawn closer, their devices ready, tension palpable. The lights faded, the scent of grease hung in the air, the escalators hum a faint heartbeat, the food court's atmosphere charged with elevated stakes. Nathan's deceit, a menace surpassing Ellen's suffering, called for revelation. Statham's resolve a guiding light for honesty. Gasps from shoppers quieted, a barista's shout diminished, the murmurs of retirees intensified, and justice flickered with an everlasting flame. The crowd fell into a tense silence, Ellen's gaze filled with relief, while Nathan's broken groans lingered in the air. The dramatic twist simmered, poised to spark the reckoning that would follow. A teenager whispered, Statham had saved her. The food court's neon dimmed, grease receded, and trays lay still, a hush enveloping the mall as Nathan let out a weary sigh, slumped against the kiosk. Jason Statham knelt beside Ellen Marsh, returning her scarf with a voice that wrapped around her like a warm embrace, a trembling whisper, "You're safe now." Ellen's eyes, wide with relief, locked onto his, her frail hand steadying, the widow's fear gradually dissipating under his gentle care. The crowd's whispers, ignited by Nathan's unveiled deceit, subsided, shoppers' devices lowered, their astonished breaths fading into reverence. The escalator stilled, the atmosphere lightened. The food court transformed into a refuge where Statham's stand glowed fiercely, Ellen's shaking hands now a symbol of resilience. A mother approached, returning Ellen's purse, her tone gentle, "I'm so sorry." With heads bowed, the teens offered their apologies, their earlier jeers now a distant echo. A barista swiftly gathered Ellen's fallen apples, her hands moving with purpose. Retirees stepped in to provide solace, one gently patting Ellen's shoulder, affirming her strength. The crowd, once part of Nathan's cruelty, transformed, their collective actions becoming a wave of support, the narrative charged with emotion to reflect the outrage of the moment. Shoppers gathered tightly, some dabbing at tears, others nodding in understanding, the neon lights casting a soft, hopeful glow. The food courts throbbed with a rhythm of redemption. Ellen's nursely grace, momentarily dimmed by Nathan's jeers, flickered back to life, her gentle smile re-emerging, a spark that Statham had fiercely protected. Nathan lay there, groaning and concealing his face, his title stripped away, his disgrace laid bare. Blood marred his cheek, his once mighty form now a shattered silhouette, the myth of invincibility dismantled by the Navy fax's stark revelation, dishonored for his violent actions. His shame, a burden more oppressive than Statham's fists, pinned him to the tiles, his earlier arrogance. Widows don't matter. Now a fading echo. The crowd's eyes, once captivated by his swagger, had shifted away, retirees shaking their heads, a cashier nodding grimly, their whispers, "Fraud." Sealing his defeat, the neon buzzed, grease a distant memory, the food court's air thick with Nathan's finality, his lies entombed beneath Statham's justice. Statham stood, his chest rising and falling with intensity, his eyes scanning the crowd until they locked onto Nathan. "Fraud's no hero, Cole," he declared, his voice a low, determined growl. The conviction in his words resonated with the promise of resolution. This ends now, and the twist's fraud reveal. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd, a barista's fist tightening in response, while teens whispered among themselves, acknowledging the truth in his statement. The neon dimmed gently, escalators whispering a soft hum, as the food court's tension transformed into a sense of reverence. Statham's empathy hung in the air, a balm for Ellen's fear, her trembling hands a testament to his unwavering support. The crowd's transition, from jeering at Ellen to rallying behind her, ignited a flame fueled by Statham's struggle, a stage where truth emerged victorious. Phones fell silent in the hands of shoppers, some moved to tears, others holding tightly to one another, as the food court buzzed with a palpable sense of wonder. A retiree murmured, "He's a true hero," while a mother embraced her child, their previous indifference now replaced by a sense of regret. The neon lights flickered steadily, the heaviness of grease lifted, trays lay still, and the escalators whispered a faint rhythm in the background. Statham's stand, a tribute to Ellen's dignity, reshaped the mall, his Muay Thai scars a testament to the week's battles. The crowd's reverence deepened, a cashier presenting Ellen with water, a teen retrieving her scarf, their gestures a symphony of redemption. The food court transformed. The air vibrated, neon lights buzzing, as Statham's gaze locked with Ellen's, her eyes shining with gratitude. A nurse's strength rekindled. The murmurs of the crowd faded into a hushed reverence, as shoppers held their phones aloft, not to capture Nathan's humiliation, but to immortalize Statham's victory. The once chaotic rhythm of the food court transformed into a harmonious ode to justice, with Ellen's quivering hands finding solace in Statham's unwavering support. The neon lights pulsed with life, escalators stood still, and the mall's earlier tumult became a distant echo, while the crowds are ignited anticipation for what lay ahead. A teenager's video surfaces, lights flickering, the crowd buzzing, it's gaining momentum. The neon lights softened, the scent of grease lingered, the food court's atmosphere charged with anticipation, phones shimmering as the clips circulated. Shoppers leaned closer, a barista's voice cutting through the excitement. Behold, as the scene unfolds, retirees murmur among themselves. All eyes will be drawn. The escalators emit a soft hum, while the crowd's excitement builds like a wave, Statham's moment poised to ignite the digital realm. The dramatic aftermath hangs in the air, with Ellen's relief and Nathan's embarrassment contrasting sharply, while Statham's victory serves as a catalyst. The very heart of the mall thrums with the anticipation of a viral awakening. At 8:01 p.m., Statham's takedown was unleashed, racking up 2.1 million views by 8:15. The digital realm erupted with the hashtag #StathamSaves, while the food court's neon lights flickered and the air buzzed with anticipation. The mall became the epicenter of a viral phenomenon, igniting a global tempest. TikTok overflowed with clips, as hashtags like #JusticeForEllen surged in popularity. Headlines blared, proclaiming the actor's heroic intervention against a fake seal bully. Dwayne Johnson chimed in on Twitter, declaring Statham the real deal. With an infectious enthusiasm, the excitement spread like wildfire from the teen's recent video upload. Comments flooded in. User 123 proclaimed, "Statham's a legend," while another chimed in, "Fake us you later, Nathan's a disgrace." With fervent intensity, a public trial plays out in the digital realm. Instagram Reels replay Statham's Muay Thai kicks, Nathan's pained groans, and Ellen Marsh's astonished gaze, while the crowds or reverberates through the online space. Neon lights buzz softly, escalators stand still, and the once muted food court now resonates with a worldwide clamor. News outlets published exposés, tarnishing the reputation of Harris's widow. With gravitas, their anchors scrutinized Nathan Cole's deceit, his stripped title a raw wound exposed by the guard's facts. Former users shared Navy statements. Cole brought dishonor upon himself. This file exceeds a duration of 30 minutes.